Howdy everyone, and welcome back to The More You Grow. For those who have chickens out there, let me ask you a question. How many of you use a water like this? And let me ask you, how many of you have to clean out algae and poop and water and nastiness out of these all the time and constantly having to clean them? Well, what if I told you there's an easier solution to getting fresh, clean water to your chickens without the mess, without the cleaning? Well, I'm going to show you today how you can build your very own chicken watering system that is easy to clean, easy to fill up, and most of all, mess-free. So let's go check it out. All right, let's go over all the items you're going to need for this project. There's very few things you're going to need, and they're pretty inexpensive. The first thing you're going to have to get is these poultry drink cups. They have different shapes and different kind of designs, but I've got these here that's got a tube on either side. You can get these on Amazon for like $1 a piece. Just type in poultry drink cups and you'll see all different kinds of attachments. I like these that you hook a hose onto. It's got the little plastic nut on the back, and I'll show you how that works when we install it. So the way this poultry drink cup works is when it fills up with water, you can see it pushes down, and when it pushes down it cuts off the water, and you can adjust it for how much water the cup will hold with this little kind of bolt looking item on the top that'll twist on and off. The tighter you twist it, the less water it will hold. So we can adjust that when we get it all put in. So the next thing you're going to need is some tubing. So I got this tubing off of Amazon as well. This is black vinyl tubing, 3/8 inch, and it was pretty inexpensive as well. You want to get black tubing, whether it's rubber or vinyl or whatever kind of tubing it is. You want to get solid colors or black, because you don't want algae to grow in your tubing. You don't want to get the cheap clear tubing like you see at a lot of the hardware stores and stuff, because it's going to grow algae on the inside, and we don't want that. The next items you're going to need are a few little fittings that you can get at any hardware store. First thing you're going to need is a 3/8 inch adapter, brass adapter. Looks like that, and it fits perfectly into our tubing. You want to get a few hose washers. These are made for the 3/8 inch brass fitting. It'll fit just like this. And then we'll put a plastic fitting, or you can get brass if you can find the right size in brass. I wasn't able to. And then once we put our washers on, that will fit on the other side. Which leads me to the next material we're going to need. We're going to need a bucket of some kind. So I had some spray paint laying around, and I just had a white bucket, so I spray painted it. So I would highly recommend just getting a solid colored bucket. They have them at most stores. Get something like blue, red, black. You just don't want it to be white or clear, because that'll allow the light in, and you're going to start growing algae on the inside of your bucket again. And that's the whole purpose of this chicken water, is we're trying to reduce how much algae we get in our chicken water, and we want to keep the water as clean as possible. So that's what you're going to need. The only other thing you're going to need is you're going to need a hose clamp like this, just a hose clamp, and a 3/8 inch bolt. And you don't have to have those. I'll show you how I'm using them in just a second when we put it all together. Alright guys, so we have all of our materials here. I've done some cuts on the tubing already just because I kind of knew how I wanted them, but I will show you how we're going to assemble this. What you're going to need to do is, I took a 1/2 inch drill bit and drilled a hole in the bottom of our bucket. So I had to kind of bore it out a little bit, had to kind of make it a little bit wider just so this would fit, but it worked like a charm. So we're going to take our brass fitting. We have a washer on there. You're going to make sure the washer is down as far as possible against the adapter, like so. And what we're going to do is we're going to screw this into the bottom. And it's a nice tight fit, so this is exactly what we want. So we're going to screw that in until we get a nice snug fit. And on the inside of that, you'll see we have our brass fitting down here. We're going to take another washer and we're going to put it on the inside of the bucket and push it down. And then we're going to take our fitting. This is my plastic fitting. If you find brass, that is perfectly fine. You just want to get something that's not going to rust. So I'm going to screw that on. Like so. Okay. We've got that screwed on nice and snug. So we have our bucket all set up now. We've got our brass fitting on the outside. Then we're going to take some of our vinyl tubing, black vinyl tubing, and since we made sure to get a nice snug fit, this slides on there and it won't come off. It's nice and snug on there. And so that is that for the bucket. So now we just have to hook up our little drink cups, and that is super easy to do as well. You can see they've got this place for the tubing on either side. So we're going to slide our tubing over. And then I've got another piece that I've already rigged up that we will slide on the other side. Like so. And on the end of this, you can just fold it over and clamp it if you want. What I did, just because I thought I was going to be creative, is I had a bolt that was the right size for this tubing. And I got a hose clamp. That's where our hose clamp comes in. So I put a bolt down in the end of this and I clamped it on. And I had a little bit of silicone that I put around the edge. It's not necessary if you can find the right size bolt. This bolt was just a little bit small. It was snug, but not snug enough. So I just went ahead and put a little bit of aquarium silicone around the edge that I had laying around. That's not necessary. There's lots of ways to close off the end of this, so do whatever works for you. So look how easy that was, you guys. We now have our very own homemade gravity fed chicken water, to where all of the water will stay nice and clean. As you can see here, we have a little bit of water here, and so as you can see, that weight pulls down the spring and cuts off the water, and as the chickens drink the water out, it will lift up and fill up with more water. Very awesome. So without any further ado, let's go get this to the chickens. Okay, so one thing that I've done off camera is I bought this little hanging hook, and what this actually is what you would put a closet rack on, like the rack that you'd hang your clothes on. I found this in there for about $5. So I was like, this will work perfect. I've got that drilled into the side or the back side of the chicken pen here. So what we're gonna do now that we've got this hook drilled in and hung up here, we're going to hang our chicken water up here. And once I fill it up, we've also got a lid, and I'll put on that to keep that water nice and fresh. And one thing I'll do once we get it filled up as well is I have the top of the tarp here. We'll cover it up and try to keep it out of the direct sun if we can. So what we need to do now is we need to install our little drink cups under here. So let's get to that. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're going to go ahead and hook up our drink cups. So I'm gonna slide those in here like so. And we're going to go ahead and bolt them to the side with the little screw caps that come with it. So I'm going to try to run this in there. Okay, it may be hard to see, guys, but I've got one cup installed on here. Now I've got the other. Gonna put it right about here. And all you do is line that up. Line that up. And screw the little plastic nut on. As you can see, our poultry drink cups are working nicely. So now we just gotta see what the ladies think. Works like a charm, guys. Alrighty guys, we got the chicken water all set up now, and it's already off to a great start. They're learning to use the cups. They started to figure out there's water back there, and I will suggest leave your existing water in your coop until they learn to use the cups, because we don't want them to be without water, especially during this heat, until they learn to use those. And I just gotta tell you, I can already tell this is gonna be a great system, because now I'm able to clean their water and change it out really easily just by lifting up the bucket, dumping it out, and I'm not having to pick up that heavy water in and out of the coop and making sure I don't lose the chickens in the process. I can already tell you it's gonna be easier to clean, because the only thing I have to clean out all this is the little cups every so often, because they're probably gonna kick a little bit of dirt into that. It's not gonna be a big problem. We just spray it out with the water hose and we're good. And the biggest thing is I'm not gonna have to clean green algae out of my water anymore. You used to have to clean gobs of algae out of the water, especially during the summer. But with this bucket that doesn't allow light in, and the hose that's black doesn't let light in, no more algae to worry about. I highly suggest for y'all to check out these poultry cups. You can get them on Amazon. I saw a few other people on YouTube doing something similar with their birds using these watering cups. Like Daybird Aviaries has a video out there where he installed a system very similar to this. Check it out, guys, because there's a lot of systems out there that are easier to manage than just the traditional big bucket waters that you have to clean all the time. So if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button. If you have any more questions for me on anything I did in this video, any kind of installation or materials, leave it down in the comments and I'll be sure to hit you up on that. And if you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Go check us out on Facebook and Instagram, and hit that bell icon for notifications. And until next time, I hope you'll join me right here on The More You Grow.